My name's Justin. I'm 32 and I run my own business. Today, I'm out with my wife Lily, visiting an open house for a newly built condominium complex. Wow, a brand new condo complex. I heard there are 3 different model units, each with a unique concept, Lily said excitedly. I wonder what the concepts are. It's exciting, isn't it? Definitely, I replied. The person I spoke with when we booked our visit was so pleasant, it made me look forward to it even more. We were buzzing with anticipation as we headed to the property. The area, recently revitalized, was becoming increasingly popular and quite a crowd had gathered for the open house. Excuse me, we had an appointment for the open house, I said as we approached a sales representative standing by the condo. He turned around with a pleased look on his face. Ah, you two are here for the tour? But then his expression changed. The salesman frowned and stared at us rudely, even though we weren't dressed inappropriately or anything. He sighed heavily and jerked his head toward the entrance. Please, go this way. Thank you, we said, a bit taken aback by his strange behavior. With the presentation time closing in, we made our way to the venue. Oh, this room is so cute, Lily said as we explored the model units. I like the classy one we saw earlier, but I love bright colors, so maybe this one is more my style. By the time we were examining the rooms, we had forgotten all about the sales rep and were completely absorbed in evaluating the spaces. The windows are large, which gives a sense of openness, and the view isn't half bad, right? I pointed out. It might be a big plus. As for the layout, this type would provide plenty of storage even if we have a lot of stuff. Doesn't that sound good? Lily agreed. After looking around all the rooms, we settled down at one of the provided tables and started looking through the brochures, discussing our impressions. At that moment, the same sales rep from before brought some refreshments and started serving them to each table. Thank you for coming by today. How was everything? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. My name is Brown, he said, smiling and making polite conversation at each table. However, he breezed past our table without leaving any refreshments. Ha! Lily and I just stared, dumbfounded. Eventually, after he had finished serving everyone else, he glanced our way and seemed to smirk before moving on. Hey, that guy, Lily whispered to me, furrowing her brows. You mean the one who was so rude to us at the entrance? I asked. Yeah, that's him, she confirmed. We never did receive our drinks or the extra information we asked for. The excitement we felt had completely vanished, replaced by a sour mood. I thought the ad looked promising, I said, but Lily looked disappointed. As we were getting ready to leave, we heard Brown's voice. Apparently, he thought he was alone. Man, that clueless couple today was a real pain. They're so out of touch with their own status. It's just sad. No kidding, someone responded. Brown shook his head. I saw from a distance they parked their car in the coin-operated lot. They rolled up in a tiny compact car. Never thought they were here for the tour. They looked so plain and broke. They should know their place. Lily and I exchanged glances. It seemed like Brown was talking about us. Indeed, we had arrived at the venue in our compact car. Compared to those decked out in designer wear that we spotted at the viewing, our attire may have seemed modest. Why should I waste my valuable time on folks like that? I ignored them. They were dumbfounded. Ha ha. Mr. Brown, isn't that not quite right? From now on, let me handle the refreshments and materials, said another voice. The one to argue with the abrasively laughing Mr. Brown was apparently his junior colleague. Shut up, Johnson. Don't be presumptuous as a newbie. I am the one who will be managing the contracts. You wouldn't dare undermine me for the incentive, would you? No, I didn't mean to, Johnson replied, looking distressed. From the following exchanges, it became apparent that Johnson was the one taking care of all the preparations while Mr. Brown was cherry-picking the good parts of customer service. It kind of ruined my mood. On the way home, Lily let out a sigh. Since we remember these things, let's pass on this apartment today. It's a shame because the show suite was so nice, but it just doesn't feel right. I agree. If we proceed with this, we will likely have to face Mr. Brown again, and given what happened today, I could see where this was going. We decided to look into other properties. After discussing it for 2 weeks, Lily called me over. Justin, what do you think about this property? She asked, pointing at the PC screen. It's a bit over budget, but I'd like to go and see it. Only a few units left, huh? You're weak for these marketing phrases, Lily. You always end up buying things that say limited edition, even suites. As I teased her, she laughed and said, "Don't compare it to sweets." We quickly clicked on the button to book a viewing. However, the day of the viewing brought back the nightmare. It happened when we arrived at the venue and tried to get the documents. "You gotta be kidding. Give me a break," a familiar voice rang out with a slight tongue click. When we turned towards the sound, there was Mr. Brown, who had bad-mouthed us at the previous open house. We didn't expect to see him again so soon. Upon closer inspection, the person we had asked for the documents was none other than Johnson, his junior colleague. I involuntarily pulled my hand back from taking the documents. Johnson, who seemed not to remember us, looked puzzled. Then Mr. Brown interjected. "Excuse me, what is your profession?" His rude question irked me, but I decided to see how he'd react first. "I'm self-employed." "Ha!" Mr. Brown scoffed, not even bothering to hide his mocking expression. "This place is out of your league. It's a waste to even show the last unit on the top floor to people like you." "Got it." Mr. Brown, with an air that suggested we should leave quickly, started to turn us away with his dismissive behavior. I was the one to speak up this time. "What does that mean?" Mr. Brown smirked. "Don't get it. It means no poor folks. Understand?" "Sir, please stop it." I'm very sorry. Here are the documents," Johnson said, trying to intervene. "Johnson, stop messing around and don't increase our workload," Mr. Brown snapped, taking the documents from him. "Are you saying we should choose our customers?" "I'm not convinced," Lily confronted Mr. Brown, but he didn't seem to care. Yep. This is a luxury apartment building where high society resides. We decline entrance to the poor," he said, clearly implying we should leave. I couldn't keep quiet any longer. "I highly doubt you have the responsibility to screen potential buyers. Could you please call your superior?" I demanded. Mr. Brown just shrugged. "I can't do anything about what you're saying. Like I told you, this property is designed for the affluent upper class. It's not something people like you can afford." His statement was shocking. "Mr. Brown, that's rude to the customers. Please stop." I'm very sorry." Johnson tried to mediate, but I cut him off. "So we, as a couple, are denied the viewing, right?" Mr. Brown smiled triumphantly. "Exactly," he said in an arrogant tone, gesturing us toward the exit. "I wouldn't even do it as a favor." Lily, who had been silent next to me, finally lost her temper. We left the venue indignantly. "Wait, please," Johnson called after us, running to catch up. "I'm truly sorry. Even though my apologies might not fix anything, I'm really sorry for the terrible rudeness. I don't know how to make it up to you." "Johnson, you should go back. I'm sorry if I upset you more by chasing after you," I said, shaking my head as Johnson apologized, sweat dripping down his face. "I can see you're a sincere person. Thanks for your concern, but we'll be heading home now. You should go back. Mr. Brown will be mad. Don't worry about us anymore." But, Johnson looked back at the way we had come and then bowed deeply to us again. "Listen, Johnson, we're not really mad. It's okay. We're angry at Mr. Brown. After such a bad experience, we probably wouldn't feel like buying the place even if we saw it. So we're going home, but we haven't given up on finding a property," I explained. Lily smiled and added, "I don't want to see Mr. Brown again, and I definitely don't want to buy a place from someone like him. But if we get another chance, I'd like you to be in charge. Can you do that?" "Yes, of course. I'll make sure to show you our best property," Johnson said, bowing politely again. We exchanged smiles with Johnson as he handed us his business card. We promised to call him when we were ready to see other properties. Just then, the disgruntled footsteps of Mr. Brown echoed. "Johnson, where did you put the contract documents?" "Geez, you're never around when I need you. What are you doing?" "Don't embarrass me," Mr. Brown yelled, noticing us and nudging Johnson. "Stop doing useless things. Don't waste your time with these poor folks. There is no gain, not even a cent, or should I say a penny. Now hurry up and get those documents. Got it?" With that, Mr. Brown grabbed Johnson by the scruff of his neck and started to drag him away. "Hey, quit the rough stuff," I shouted with conviction. Brown let out a snort of laughter. "Are you still here, poor man? Is that you? You don't like being told you're poor, so you're pretending to be free? Go home early and work hard." He waved his hand dismissively and continued to drag Johnson away. "Hey, Justin, I'm about to reach my boiling point," Lily said, clenching her fist. "Me too," I replied, feeling just as angry. I wholeheartedly agreed. About an hour later, during the drive home in my favorite compact car, a call came in on my smartphone. I asked Lily to answer it. From the phone, now on speaker, came a pleading voice. Ah, sorry, can you come back right away? The voice had changed, almost like a different person, but it seemed to be Mr. Brown. What can we help you with? Lily asked. A hurried reply followed. There's something I want to tell you. We don't want to go back to you. What do you want to say? You can tell us over the phone. You sound so haughty. No, nothing. Can you please calm down? Lily coldly brushed him off. There was a hint of anger in Brown's voice again, but for some reason, it quickly returned to a flattering tone. However, Lily showed no mercy. Well, remember how you said we wouldn't gain even a penny by dealing with you? This call is a waste, so goodbye. But wait. Ignoring Brown's attempt to stop her, Lily hung up the call. When the phone rang again, she turned it off, deciding it was too much of a hassle. By the way, how much is a penny worth right now? Lily asked seriously. I couldn't help but laugh. I think it's about 0.03 cents in Colombian pesos. 0.03 cents, huh? You know a place with a lower rate? If it's Indonesian rupiah, I think it's about 0.009 cents. Then Lily started imitating Brown. Not even a penny to gain by dealing with the likes of us. Or rather, not even a rupiah. Hey, do I sound like him? Who's smarter? Both are kind of so-so, Justin, I replied, laughing. And so we chatted away, enjoying a quick lunch before returning home. Then we spotted a figure in front of a certain garage. Hey, Justin, sorry for the trouble of coming back with your car, Robert called out. That's fine, but you brought them both here. We had no idea this was going to happen, and we're having a meal. Sorry, did we keep you waiting too long? No, not at all. I'm the one who should be apologizing here. Hey, don't just stand there like a lump. Ah, what? The one being threatened and shaking with fear was Brown, who had called us poor. Next to him, Johnson looked bewildered, feeling sorry for him. I decided to reassure Johnson by revealing the truth. Johnson, relax, it's okay. Robert, the vice president of this company, and I are college buddies. Both Johnson and Brown's eyes widened in surprise. Actually, Justin and I were attending the open house at Robert's request. But we really were looking for a property, Lily confessed. Who could have thought things would turn out like this? Johnson looked flustered, while Brown stared at us in disbelief, as if to ask what we meant. We asked Justin to dress casually for the viewing, and we arranged for him to use a small car we prepared. Otherwise, well, look over there, Lily pointed. The car in front of our garage was Justin's real vehicle, a luxurious one. He's a well-known young investor around town, Brown. Just by looking at that car, you should know you couldn't afford it even if you stood on your head. Brown appeared to be trembling, likely anticipating severe chastisement. A few months ago, we started receiving complaints at the corporate office. People said they felt looked down upon by salespeople when they went for casual viewings. Everyone was saying the same thing, so I visited the site many times, but you acted polite in front of me, Brown. However, the features match you no matter how I think about it. I asked Justin to confirm once I left the site, and the result is this situation. Mr. Vice President, could there be some kind of mistake? Brown stammered. Don't screw around. We have the recorded conversation. Do you want to deny it until I play it back? Robert's scathing words left no room for excuses. Brown tried to make excuses but quickly wilted. I apologize, he muttered. You're apologizing to the wrong person, Robert snapped. I am really sorry, Brown stammered, lowering his head as if trying to bury it in the ground. But if saying sorry were enough, there would be no need for the police, Robert replied coldly. Don't think this ends here. You'll take full responsibility. Brown shrank back even more, looking as if he were about to cry upon hearing Robert's threat of damages. It was all my fault, but the compensation. Brown approached Lily and me, practically begging for shelter. Robert grabbed him by the scruff of his neck. Don't joke around. You judged based on appearances and labeled them as poor. It's a big mistake to think rich people flaunt their wealth. Do you know how many cancellations we've received from high-profile clients because of your reckless behavior? As Robert lectured him in a low voice, Brown seemed to shrink smaller and smaller. You ruined our company's reputation with your sales tactics. You understand my anger, right? Please forgive me, Brown pleaded. No chance. Brown's eyes rolled back as he collapsed to the ground. It had been a while since I saw Robert lose his cool like this. It reminded me of our college days when Robert stood up for me against bullies, even fighting upperclassmen to protect me and getting beaten up in the process. Once again, Robert had defended me, this time alongside my wife Lily. I owed him big time. I'd treat him to his favorite steak next time. A few days later, Robert invited us for another property viewing with Johnson in charge. Until a formal decision was made, Brown had received a pay cut and demotion, now working as an office grunt. It seemed only natural that he was getting a tough time from everyone, considering how he had treated them before. Yeah, I'll clean the table right away. I'll get the documents. I'm sorry, I'll get them. We could faintly hear Brown's distinctly different voice from before. Later, Brown was sentenced to pay damages and struggled to make repayments without his title or duties. Meanwhile, thanks to Johnson, we managed to acquire our ideal home. Moreover, due to Robert's consideration, we got it at a slightly discounted price. Johnson also seemed to be making great strides in his performance and was enjoying better treatment. Honesty is such an important thing in life, I thought to myself.